We've received quite a bit of interest in my free to be workshop, so to that effect, beneath this video is a link that will give you a description for the workshop, and we've also included a special discount. So if that's something you would be interested in, I would invite you to click that link, and I hope that you would find the course to be quite beneficial. There's a particular brand of narcissism out there that can be very difficult for you to engage with because it's so out of touch with reality, but it's what we refer to as authoritarian narcissism. Now, narcissists by definition want to be in control, and they have low regard for other individuals. They think of themselves as being very special and unique. They look at you as being beneath them. When they latch on to an authoritarian style of communication and thinking and engagement with you, they can just be sheer disaster. They're miserable to deal with. Basically, when we talk about authoritarianism, we talk about that individual appealing to your sense of duty and obedience at the expense of your personal freedom. They want you to lay that down, and that's their starting point. Now, I want to first go through many different indicators that you're dealing with an authoritarian person. And then second, when we look at that, I want us to take a look at the mindset that they carry with them that allows them to be this way. If you're kind of trying to determine, is this person somebody that's deep into authoritarianism, then let's start with the fact that they have a very low regard for other individuals' preferences or interpretations, or just manner of doing things. It's like, look, if you have something that differs from me, then you're wrong. And they immediately go to that place of thinking. They're unwilling to process emotion because emotion is too fluid, or it's too evasive or elusive for them. They don't process their own emotion. They don't process your emotion well. They just want everything to fit inside their grooves. Authoritarian people don't manage diversity well. If you are other, or if you have different lifestyle preferences or cultural distinctives or interpretations, then it's like, well, then there's something wrong with you. There's something defective, as opposed to just simply saying, yeah, it takes all types, and there are many people out there. I can deal with that. They can't do that. The diversity scares them, actually. In the meantime, we can say that despite the fact that they're so definitive, they can also be very fluid in their management of their principles and standards. By that I mean, if they say something yesterday and they're very dogmatic about it, and then today something else comes up that makes yesterday's pronouncement irrelevant, it's like, well, I didn't mean that, but here's what I mean instead. And they're constantly shifting with their facts so that it will fit their narrative. And so you realize that facts are not facts at all. They're just subjective pronouncements on their part, but they pronounce it as facts. That's the way they do it. Anything they can do to stay in power. They will be insistent that you must filter your decisions through them. It's like they have the operating manual, and they're more than happy to let you know what it is, and they're constantly appealing to the agenda according to them. In addition, authoritarian people refuse to be held accountable. Nobody tells me what to do. Got that? They're highly competitive in the way that they think. It's win, lose, and guess who's going to be on the losing end of that equation when you hang with them? They're prone to paranoia. Why are you doing this to me? Are those folks over there, are they on my team or not? And they can have very much a, where do I stand with people? Because they've got to be in that favored position. Now, they'll try to motivate you through guilt and shame, and they have no problems whatsoever pronouncing that upon you. In addition, they try to motivate you through their anger. They're prone to rages and intimidation and threats. They can have all sorts of inappropriate forms of anger, and then once they're finished with the anger, then they go to disdain and holding grudges, and they can think of people as enemies for a long, long time. They hold those grudges a very long time. Now, in addition, they're very fragile emotionally. Now, they'll come across as being very solid and very confident But then when you look at all of this stuff that I'm describing, it's like, that's not the mark of a healthy person. That's not the mark of a secure person. They'll say, oh, I'm very secure in who I am. Of course, my question is, well, then why do you fall apart so quickly when things don't go your way? They are extremely fragile. They don't have a lot of interior to draw upon, and they don't have enough peace, I should say, to draw upon that's going to guide them. In addition, they do draw energy by making sure they have people in submission to them. It's like, that's my fuel. That's what I gain my sense of well-being from. And they have a very poor sense of analytical thinking. They may think of themselves as being the expert or the smartest person in the room, when in fact, when you say, well, let's break that down, it's like, no, I don't do that. They're very black and white. So when you look at all of those many indicators, and I could go on, of the authoritarian person, these are very emotionally volatile, or to use a more technical term, they're emotionally labile. They're up and down and back and forth. What's going on inside the mind of these individuals? And it's so important for you to recognize what's happening so you can have an objectivity about who they are. Because anytime there's a conflict, they're going to let it be known, it's your fault. It's your fault. You're the problem child here. When in fact, no, there are all sorts of things cooking on the inside of themselves that cause them to be what I just described. For example, one of the primary thoughts that they draw upon is, I'm not going to let people know who I really am. You will not know me. They're very deeply committed to maintaining their false self. In addition, they're thinking, actually, vagueness is a good tool that I can use. I'll let you see how strong I am, but then when you really want to get to know some of the details about me, no, I don't do that either, which is again part of that false self. Or in their thinking, they're motivated by the thoughts that says, when someone else shines, then I need to make sure they know that I shine better. And they can't let other people have the spotlight because they're so hungry for affirmation. They're so hungry for significance. Or in addition, part of the thinking that drives them is people are not to be trusted. Somewhere deep in their past, they learned you don't let any individual into your inner circle. I'll use you, but I won't trust you. I don't trust anyone. Also, in their thinking, they'll say anybody that wants to challenge me needs to pay a very high price, and that way they're not going to do it again. And so they see your differentness as something to be squelched, and that's how they think. Or in addition, they'll think when I'm inside any kind of group, I need to make sure that everyone there knows that I'm the gold standard. And so they truly think I really am a special person, despite all the evidence of fragility to the contrary. No, I'm really quite special. That's how they think. And then they also think if someone does point out my flaws, well, it's guaranteed they're wrong. They can't possibly be right. And then if there's a problem involving me, then I need to make sure that I have a good excuse. That's what I do. And so for them, in their inner motivation, they're thinking, power is the ultimate thing that gives me goodwill, as opposed to those soft traits, like love, kindness, mercy. That stuff is for weaklings. And basically, they think anybody who's not inside my tribe needs to be shunned. They need to be, they need to know they don't count around me. Now, when you think about these individuals and how they operate, it's like, who would do this? And as I describe this, it's like, this is so glaringly wrong, glaringly obvious that it's a wrong way of life. It's important for you to understand that there are some people whose thinking has become so demented, it's so narcissistic, that they honestly believe this BS that they operate with. And it's also important then for you to realize when they put all of their difficulty onto you, it's not about you. They want you to think that, but it's all a reflection of their confusion. It's all a reflection of a very poorly conceived view of human nature. I'm hoping that when they come at you with their triggering kinds of statements and behaviors, the more you're aware of this, it's like, wait a minute. I'm not going to keep getting triggered by you. I don't have to defend myself. If you want to be angry, I know that's just what you do. If you think that I'm an idiot, I get it. I understand. Instead, validate yourself and understand that if this person, no matter how strong or powerful they seem to be or how much clout they may want you to have, you need to listen to your own gut. These are individuals who are troubled. These are individuals who are deeply insecure. And let's validate who you are. Keep in mind that part of the authoritarianism is they want you to lay down your free will. It's like, no, I've got my own privilege to choose for myself, and I'm going to trust in my determinations. It's for you to be your own person. It's not just a right that you have, which of course it is, but it's a responsibility. Be responsible to yourself to live with your good insight and your knowledge. And basically, whether you want to say this out loud or not, in your mind you're thinking, if you want me to be in the role of the dummy, I'm not playing that role. That's just not going to happen. And I hope that videos such as this give you some good insight into what you're dealing with. It can give you some stimulation to say, I'm going to be the better alternative. If you've not already done so, I'd encourage you to hit that subscribe button, and there's a notification bell that goes on along with it, and you can stay apprised with more and more videos as we come out. In addition, if you have a need for counseling, and many times when you're faced with this, that would be an appropriate thing. If you have someone in your area, I would encourage you to seek that out. If not, or if you would prefer differently, we have a sponsor who can take you to a whole team of experienced licensed professional counselors, and it's an online service. There's a link below that you can seek that out, and I've received good feedback regarding that. In addition, we have my courses, and these are just more than one-off kind of things. They're multiples of videos with written material that go along with it, and personal reflection questions that go along with it. It's meant to have a therapeutic processing. This is me. It's about setting boundaries with these controllers, or free to be. It's about finding your identity despite these controllers. In addition, we have my books, and then we have other media places where you can find us on other outlets. So lots of resources below. These authoritarian people, they act as if they're the ultimate. They're not. They're tortured souls, but they don't want you to know that. But now you do know it. And as you do understand and see through the facade that they offer, then I'm hoping you can say, not buying it, not playing into it. I'm not going to be anybody's stooge on this. That doesn't work with me, because I'm committed to DRC, dignity, respect, and civility. I want to be a person of steadiness. I want to be a person of peace.